ignorant. When you become a part of Christ, you completely change. It's not just a physical change, a physical appearance change, but it's also a spiritual change and like a mental change. And God can take away things that are wrong, or He can add things that'll help you in your attributes. And that's one thing that He adds is like when you're around a group or when you're around somebody, and I'm not saying that it's perfect for every scenario, but for example, for that scenario, now those guys at my work, they don't say those particular things, and even if they do, they kind of think back on what they say, and they always catch themselves. And that's something that I respect now, because they respect me in that sense, and that's the kind of representation that I want to strive for. And I'm not in any way trying to glorify myself, but I just want to glorify Jesus, because I don't want to be a part of anything that God would not want to be a part of. And that's what Christ wants us to be. He wants us to be molded and shaped in His image. And so when we are like that, we shouldn't want to be a part of anything that He wouldn't want to be a part of. A way that I think about it is when anytime I'm around anybody, or I'm doing anything, or even if I'm by myself, and I don't even have to pretend, because I know that the Lord is right there with me, and He's just always right there with me. He's inside of me. He's right there with me. He's my best friend. He's my leader. He's my guide. But He's always right there, and He sees what you do, and sometimes it's not always about what you do around other people. It's what you do on your own. It's what you do when you're in private. It's what you do. Sometimes it is even, for example, you could help somebody, or you could give money to somebody, and you could in no means know or have anybody else know what you've done, but you know that God knows, because that's who you did it for. Mm-hmm. And that's the kind of personal relationship that He calls for us to be. Is He wants us to not, He doesn't want us to try to gain glory, or rise to the top, or anything like that. He wants He wants us to be humble, because He was humble, and we're trying to be just like Him. Like we've talked about before, and like you guys know, He didn't come on some gold chariot down from heaven, and He didn't stop the entire world and say, "Yo, what's up? I'm God." He came through a virgin birth, and He came as a baby, and He humbled Himself so much. Like you guys remember the message when we were reading in the seals, Christ in simplicity. It's simplistic, but yet it's so I can't think of the word, but just amazing how He works, and that's the way He wants us to work. We're actually going to read, let's see, there's a little excerpt I have from Brother Brenham's message. It's called, We Have Found, We Have Found Him, I think. Yeah, we have found Him come. And let's start. It says, "Then He's here. Is that right?" He said, "Wherever 2 or 3 are gathered, no matter how small a group, 2 or 3, I'll be in their midst. What anything they ask shall receive it." Now, that's either right or it's wrong. Jesus said, "If ye abide in me, and my word in you, you can ask what you will, and it will be done to you. Whatsoever things you desire when you pray, believe that you will receive it." But watch the order of the word now. You believe now, you receive it, it shall be given unto you tonight. See, He can do nothing for you until you first believe and say that He has done it. Let that soak real deep. How many correctly understands that? Hebrews 3:1 says, no matter how sick you are, what about it? You've got to first believe He does it, and then confess that He has done it before He can even go to work on it. How many knows that? When you come to the altar to pray to be forgiven for your sins, it isn't because you cry, it isn't because you confess, it's because you believe. And when you believe and you stand up and you testify. Now watch. Now, when he says it like that, you don't just go to the altar. And it's not just an emotional thing. It's a process. It's a process that you go through. It's a life. It's a change, and that change is so hard. And you guys have all have that change, and you feel it. But it is a hard change, and it's not something that you just say. It's something that you believe, and then once you believe, then you will receive. And the reason they do it in that order, believe, receive, is because this word, it's past, present, future. It's all things now and forevermore. But at the end, in Revelations, it already shows that we're changed. Our bodies are changed. God has already promised that to us. We don't see the manifestation yet because it's just not something that's happened in our time, but God sees it. So if we believe the word, if we believe those old stories that were told, David and Goliath, if we believe, the King Solomon reigned, if we believe that Daniel and the lions, and if we believe those things actually happened and that Jesus died for our sins, then we believe that the end time is coming and that our body change will happen. And if we believe that, then we believe that our healing can happen. But you have to be bold when you come to Christ. Let's go to, let's go to Hebrews 4:16. I think it's Hebrews 4:16. Yeah, this is one of my favorite scriptures. Let's start in verse 14, Hebrews 4:14. It says, "Seeing then that we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens, Jesus the Son of God, let us hold fast our profession, for we have not a high priest which cannot be touched